Let's look at the sentences from chapter 22. Exercitationes. Number 1. Vicini nostri se in Genua protinus jecerunt, et omnes deus in mundo laudaverunt. So we've got two sentences here separated by the et and the, so the first one, vicini and jecerunt is your verb. The neighbors, whose neighbors? Our neighbors. This is nominative, plural, masculine. Our neighbors themselves, this is your direct object, accusative, plural, masculine, in Genoa, onto their knees, in Genoa, accusative, plural, neuter. Protinus is an adverb that means straight away. They threw, third person, plural, present, perfect, active indicative. Our neighbors threw themselves on their knees right away. And what did they do? They laudaverunted. They praised the gods. Which ones? All the gods in the world. Number 2. Gentes Graecia in gentibus montibus et parvis finibus contenebantur. So, some things are contenebantur. What are the gentes? The gentes, which is nominative, plural, feminine, not just the gentes, but the Graecia gentes. They used to be contenebantur, passive, third person, plural, imperfect, passive indicative. They were contained. The Greek nations were contained. And then we have two ablatives. Well, 4 words in the ablative case, 2 nouns, 2 adjectives. They were contained. They were held together. Held together would be good. By huge mountains and by little boundaries. That's just describing the country of Greece, the area of Greece. The Greek clans, the Greek nations were contained by huge mountains and little boundaries. Number 3. Quis usit illam rem publicam servitute aspera liberare? Subject verb. Who ordered? Question. Interrogative pronoun here. Nominative, singular, masculine. Could be feminine. Who ordered that republic? Here's your new rem publicam. Notice both of them are declined because rem, strictly speaking, is the noun. Accusative, singular, feminine. Publicam modifies it, and illam modifies it. Who ordered that republic to be freed? The present passive infinitive used the complementary infinitive. Who ordered that republic to be freed from bleak servitude? This is your ablative, servitute. I don't know why I should not have circled it. This is just your ablative of separation, and aspera modifies it. Number 4, iste inquit sceleribus suis breve tempore tollitur. That one, he said. This is just your he said, because the rest is a quote, as you can say. That one, iste is your subject, will be destroyed. Third person, singular, future, passive indicative, will be destroyed by his own crimes. Ablative means, ablative, plural, neuter, by his own crimes in a brief time. This is the ablative of means. This is your ablative, singular, neuter, in ablative of time within which. Within a brief time, that one will be destroyed by his own crimes. Number 5, contra alias manus malorum civium eadem res iterum parabuntur, rem publicam defendimus et isti Quito discedent. So, contra alias manus malorum civium. Wow. Contra governs the accusative. So, contra against the bands, accusative, plural, feminine, not just bands, but the other bands of evil citizens. So, we'll get that out of the way. Contra alias manus malorum civium, the same the republic, the race, the same thing, the same things, plural, nominative, plural, feminine. The same things, parabuntur, third person, plural, future, passive, indicative, will be prepared again. So against those bands of evil citizens, the same things will be prepared again. Defendimus, we will defend the republic, and those will depart swiftly. This is your adverb that means swiftly. Number 6. Senectus senes a mediis rebus saepe prohibet. This is confusing because senectus and senes are right there next to each other. What's the subject? What's the adjective? What's the object? Senectus, old age. Nominative, singular, feminine. Senes, old men, old people, perhaps. Accusative, plural, masculine. Could be feminine, we don't know. Prohibit. Third person, singular, present, active, indicative. Old age prohibits elderly, old people, always prohibits them from the middle of things. Perhaps not a nice sentiment. I don't know what spurred it. Old age often keeps men from the midst of activities. Number 7. At res graves neque vi neque spe geruntur, sed concilio. Always like this sentence. I like the neque and the neque, neither nor. Neither, and just to get it in there, by force, this is your ablative of means. Ablative singular feminine, used in the ablative of means construction. Neque spe, also ablative of means. Neither by force, nor by hope. But we haven't got the rest of that. I just jumped right ahead because I saw that neque vi, neque spe. But race, things are carried out. This is nominative, plural, feminine. How do I know it's nominative, plural, and not singular? Race could be singular, absolutely, but when I get to the verb, and the verb is third person's plural, present, passive, indicative, I say, oh, well, that was my subject. But serious matters are carried out, not by force, nor by hope, but by plan, by a plan. Serious matters, important matters, however you want to say it. Number 8. Si versus horum duorum poetarum neglegitis, magna parte Romanarum literarum carebitis. Oh, so here, if y'all do this, y'all will do that. So if you neglect, that's the present indicative, second person plural, present, active, indicative. If you neglect the verses, accusative, plural, versus, I'm going to say is masculine, the verses of those two, or of these two poets, you will carebit, you will, second person plural, future active indicative. And notice this careo takes the, so we should expect the ablative here. You will be without a great part. There it is. This is your ablative of separation, governed by careo. Well, the full verb is carebitis in this sentence. You'll be without a great part of Roman literature. So if you neglect the verses of these two poets, you will be without a great part of Roman literature. 9. Eodem tempore nostrae spes salutis communis vestra fidealte sunt. Spiritus sublati sunt, et temores relicti sunt. At the same time, eodem tempore, ablative of time when. Ablative, singular, neuter. In the ablative of time when construction, at the same time, our hopes, nostrae spes, this is your nominative, plural, feminine. Again, very frustrating because you don't know if it's nominative plural, nominative singular, but nostrae helps because it modifies it. Nostrae is clearly the nominative plural. I mean, it could be other things, but those two in combination work out. Our hope for the common safety, for the common welfare, the common safety, were lifted. Altai sunt. This is third person plural. Present perfect. Passive, indicative, and it's nominative plural feminine because it modifies. Here we are confirming that space were lifted by your faith. Ablative of means here. So at the same time, our hope for the common good were lifted by your faith. The spirits were raised. Spiritus sublati sunt. And again, this is the with the fourth conjugation verb. Still, you don't know. Nominative singular, nominative plural look just alike. Very frustrating, I admit. Sublati sunt is the third person plural, present, perfect, passive, indicative, and it is nominative plural masculine because it modifies spiritus, and the fears and our fears were left behind. All this that I said here about sublati sunt could be said about relicti sunt. So at the same time, our hopes for the common good were raised by your faith. Our spirits were lifted, and our fears were left behind. Did I say our, does it say our spirits and our fears? Not in the Latin per se, and yet I said it in English because the Romans said nostrae once. I mean, our hopes, they would be like, well, whose other spirits would you think? I mean, we've already used the word our hopes at the beginning. We've already talked about our things, so the Romans are not going to repeat themselves very often. Our hopes, our spirits, and our fears. The R goes with all of it. Not grammatically, obviously, but in thought. And the Romans aren't going to express it, but we in English, we do express it, so we'll be comfortable doing that. Number 10, Nova genera scelerum in hac urbe inveniuntur, quod multi etiam nunc bonis moribus et sensu communicarent, ac naturam sinistrum habent. New types of crimes. This is your genitive plural neuter, but this is your nominative plural masculine. Noah modifies it. New types of crimes are found. Inveniuntur, third person plural, present active, passive indicative, are found in this city. Because, quote, is a conjunction. It's a conjunction. Many, even now, lack, current. What does current take? What do we expect with current? The ablative of separation, so we're looking for some ablative. They lack good morals. This is one, good morals, and common sense. And moreover, it doesn't say moreover, I'm just throwing that in there, and they have a sinister nature. So the first part of the sentence, new types of crimes are found in this city, and the second part, because many do what? Many current and many habent. Many are without good morals, even now. I'd throw that in there, I perhaps omitted that the first time. Many, even now, are without good morals and common sense, and they have a sinister nature. 11. Vulgos multa ex fenestris cassarum ieciebat. Like that. The crowd, the common crowd, the rabble. What would they do? They would throw. Here's your subject, here's your verb. What would they throw? Multa, the accusative, plural, neuter, used substantively. The common crowd would throw many things from the windows of their homes. Ex fenestris, ablative of place from which. Number 12, great fidelity can now be found in this commonwealth. Fidelity can be found, is able to be found. So we might want to rewrite that, is able to be found. I've crossed out now, and I mean, we need to keep that in there. Is able, so fidelity, fides. Nominative, singular feminine, great modifies it, is able, third person singular, present, active, indicative, but the complementary infinitive to be found, it's present, passive infinitive, used can be found in this commonwealth. This is your ablative of place where. So fides magna is able. Fides magna. Let's put the in this commonwealth in there. In hoc re publica, and I've got to put them all, I've got to conjugate all words. We think of republic as one word. The Romans thought of it as two, the res publica, and so that you have to conjugate the decline, the re and the publica. In this publica, nunc, now, in vain iri, this is your passive infinitive that ends with an I, potest. So great fear, our great faith in this republic is now able to be found. Number 13, his new hopes had been destroyed by the common fear of uncertain things. Hopes had been destroyed. It's destroyed by the common fear. That's going to be your ablative of means and of uncertain things. So new modifies hopes. Hopes is nominative, plural, let's rewrite that, plural, feminine, hopes, space. The final frontier. New, space, Noah. No why, because it's feminine. It's feminine, so you want no why, you need the nominative, plural, feminine ending on that. Eus, we'll put his new hopes had been destroyed. I'll throw this in at the end, I'll put it over here. Had been destroyed, de lay tie, I should analyze it, third person, plural, pluperfect, passive, indicative. So that means we're going to use the fourth principal part, de latai erant. His new hopes had been deleted by the common fear, by the metu, it's the ablative of means, so we don't need a word for by or the, metu communi, by the common fear of uncertain things, in cartarum rerum. So his new hopes, by the common fear of uncertain things, had been destroyed. Number 14. On that day, the courage and the faith of the brave Roman men and women were seen by all. On that day, this is the ablative of time when. We're going to use the new word we've learned, da. The courage and the faith, these are your subjects, courage and faith of the brave Roman men and women. Okay, we'll need to get those in there. We're going to use the genitive, so we don't need of or the. Were seen by all. This is your ablative of agent. So before we even start analyzing, let's translating, let's look at the analysis. The by all is going to be ablative of personal agent, and that does take a or ob. That does take a preposition. So on that day, the ablative of time when does not take a preposition. So these are no preposition, no preposition. We'll write that there. On that day, let's say illo. Let's go with illo. Illo die. On that day, the faith and or the courage. We're going to use for courage. On that day, the virtue, courage is fine. Virtus et the virtus et fides, and faith of the brave Roman men and women of the brave, fortium Romanorum, virorum et feminarum. I'm tempted to put virorum feminarumque. Fortium Romanorum virorum feminarumque, by all, ob omnibus, were seen, we sigh sunt. Were seen is the third person plural, present perfect, passive indicative, and since we've got two nouns at the beginning, courage and faith, and they're both feminine, we're going to make it we sigh sunt. So on that day, illo die, virtus et fides, the virtue and faith, fortium Romanorum virorum feminarumque, ab omnibus, by all, were seen. Number 15, with great hope, the tyrant ordered these ships to be destroyed. With great hope is going to be your ablative of manner. Magna spe, with great hope. The tyrant, tyrannus. Tyrannus. What did he do? He ordered. And we're just going to use eubeo. So just put that, we'll put that at the end. Use it. The ships, those ships, illas naves, to be destroyed. Deleo, delere, deleri. So I, in my translation, left a little too much space, but the tyrant, you might want to say here, I'll rewrite it up here. Tyrannus, magna spe, illas naves, those ships, deleri, ordered, use it. There we go. Spaced a little more so you can understand that. Number 16, he could not fight, he could not defend himself with his left or his right, with his left hand or his right. So let's go with Manu, with his hand, with his right hand, by means of his manu sinistra, or out dextra. Manu sinistra, out either by his right or his left, say himself, to defend, defendere, non poterat. Kind of did this one on the fly. I admit, if you have questions, by all means ask. But he was not able, non pot. I just getting used to putting the verb at the end. Non poterat. He was not able to defend himself by means of. This is your ablative of means, and no preposition with the ablative of means. Sententiae antiquae. Dum vita est, space est. I like this one. While there is hope, while there is life, there is hope. Dum vita est. Dum is dumb. Dum just means so long as, or while, provided that. It's kind of a both, while and provided that. I'm not sure the distinction in English. We do distinguish between them, but it's a very interesting word. While, provided that, because we have a dum proviso clause that comes up later. But it's enough. While there is life, there is hope. Number 2, aequum animum in rebus difficilibus serva. Serva, we haven't seen it in a while. This is your verb, this is your imperative, your singular imperative. Preserve, save, a mind, accusative, singular neuter. What kind of mind? An equal mind, an even mind. In difficult things, in difficult affairs, in difficult matters, in difficult circumstances. That's probably best in this case. Because a race has a whole range of things, and it doesn't mean things, and it doesn't mean physical things, which you can perhaps misinterpret at times. But it means affairs, matters, circumstances. I think is really, really good here. Maintain an even mind in difficult circumstances. Number 3, ubi tyrannus est, ibi plane est nulla res publica. Where there is a tyrant, there plainly there is no re publica. Where there is a tyrant, there is clearly no republic. I felt no compulsion to analyze this. If you want to, by all means ask, but I think this is not terribly difficult, but that doesn't mean you won't have questions. 4. Fuerunt quondam in hac republica viri magnae virtutis et antiquae fidei. Fuerunt, we don't see it much. It's the perfect form of verb to be. Sum, esse, fui, futurum. There have been, third person plural, present perfect, active indicative. There have been, quondam, once upon a time, in this republic, ablative of place where, men weary of great virtue. This is kind of a genitive of description. Of great virtue and ancient faith. There have been, or there were, once upon a time in this republic, men of great virtue and ancient faith. Number 5. Hanc rem publicam salvam esse volumus. Voluo means we want. First person, plural, present, active, indicative. We want what? This republic to be safe. So yeah, it's awkward to our English sensibilities to have that salvam right next to the republicam. We want it to be this republic to be safe. We want it logically for our English logic to salvam to be after the essay, but in this case not. We desire this republic safe to be. Kind of Yoda speak. To think of Yoda. This republic safe will be. I don't know, that's maybe a little too much. Number 6. Spes coniuratorum molibus sententiis multorum civium alator. Hope, alator, third person, singular, present, active, passive, indicative. Hope is nourished. The hope of the conspirators is nourished by the soft sentiments, the soft by means of, this is your ablative of means, by means of the soft feelings of many citizens. The conspirators are like, great, the population has gotten soft and they could care less what we do. So the hope of the conspirators is nourished, is lifted by the soft opinions of many citizens. Ablative plural feminine. Used in the ablative of means. Number 7. Res publica conciliis meis eodia ex igne atque ferro erepta est. Wow, lots of ablatives here. You've got the conciliis meis, you've got the eodia, you've got the ex igne atque ferro, and then erepta est. So let's get your main sentence. The main sentence is the thing has been snatched. Third person, singular, present perfect. Present perfect. Passive, infinitive. Indicative. I said infinitive wrong. So the thing, what thing? The common thing, the public thing, the republic. The republic has been snatched by my plans on that day from the fire and sword. That's a very common phrase, by the fire and the sword. It means destruction. That's a Latin word for destruction. It doesn't mean destruction, but they thought of it. And I can't think of the life of me what we use. It's not through that song, Through the Fire and Flame. Something different. But it's a very common phrase that we would not use, but I'm sure we have other common phrases that would be equally awkward to the Romans. But when the Romans said from fire and the sword, they just mean, because that's what you do. You go into a city, you use your sword, you burn the place down. So it's a kind of mildly poetic way of saying, yeah, we've been saved by the fire and sword, from the fire and sword. So the republic has been snatched out of the fire and sword by my plans on that day. Number 8, quod bellum oderunt, propace cum fide laborant. Because, this is the one that just means because. Because they hate war, or hated war, they worked for peace with faith. Manner how they did it, they worked with faith. That they laborabanted. The third person, plural, imperfect, active, indicative. Number 9, dic mihi bona fide. Tell me in good faith. Dic is the imperative. Tell me. And even now, it's very common in Italy. You walk into a restaurant, dimmi. Tell me what you want. We walk into a shop, and it's not rude, or it's just how it is. It's the imperative. Tell me. Tell me in good faith. 2, have you snatched a ripui, second person, singular, present, perfect, active, indicative. Have you snatched the money ea money, the money we're talking about, and it's that weak demonstrative, that weak is ea id from is ea id. He's not being so strong as this money or that money because he doesn't have it in front of him. Did you snatch the money from his, did you not, because you get that known in there, did you not snatch the money from his right hand, right out of his right hand? Must be in court. Number 10, amicus certus in re incerta cernita. A true friend, an amicus certus, is discerned, is determined. I mean, we know, well, let me translate it. Is discerned, is determined in uncertain matters. So when life is uncertain, when life is difficult, there's when you find out who your true friends are. That's what it means. A true friend is discerned in uncertain things. Obviously a play on the certa. Amicus certus in re incerta cerniter. Yeah, it's nice. 11. Homerus auditorem in medias res rapit. Homer grabbed the listener took the listener into the middle of things. This is accusative of place to which, in this case, Homer took the listener into the middle of the circumstances. I mean, he took you right into it. You're listening to Homer, you're listening, and boom, you're in it. You're not just some passive listener, you're in it. Again, these, as I've said before, these sententiae antiquae are often require some context. 12. Felix des qui potest causas rerum intellegere, et fortunatus ille quio Deus antiquos diligit. So, happy is he who does this, and fortunate is that man who does this. That's the structure of the sentence. Happy is he who is able to know, to understand, to intelligence the causes of things. Happy is he, or fortunate is he, who is able to understand the cause of things. Understand is probably best. And fortunate is that one who praises the ancient gods. Don't know the relationship, don't know the circumstances. I'm just going over the grammar here. Happy is he who is able to understand the causes of things, of matters, and fortunate is that one who loves, esteems, chooses the gods, the ancient ones, the ancient gods. Number 13, Stoicus noster, vitium inquit, non est in rebus, sed in animo ipso. Our Stoics said, vice, non est, is not in things, in matters, in circumstances, but in the mind itself. So don't try to blame, your cell phone usage on the cell phone, okay? It's all in your mind. You've made those decisions. Sounds like words that would fall on deaf ears to teenagers. But that is perhaps reading too much into it. Number 14. Et mihi res sub jungam, non me rebus. And to me, I will join I will subject the matter. How to say this? I will subject the matter to me, not me to the matter. I'm not going to be driven by circumstances. Right? You know what I mean? I will take on what I choose to take on, and I will not fall prey to circumstances, is the idea in this one. A lot of very, very subtle, it's great Latin. Don't get me wrong. I like it very, very much. And for me, I will join things to me, not me to things. Or maybe it just means, I will choose what I want to be subjected to. I am not going to be a slave to cell phones, I guess. 15. Est modus in rebus. Sunt certi fines ultra quos virtus in venire non potest. There is measure in things. There are certain boundaries beyond which virtue is not able to be found. I don't know what this one means, but again, I do know the grammar. Yikes. There is measure in things there are certain boundaries beyond which virtue is not able to be found. Hoc fortuna tibi videtur aequum. This fortune seems just to you. This seems aequum, even, fair, just, level to you, fortune. There's a lament for you. But those are the sentences for chapter 22. Hope you enjoyed them. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.